The wines were amazing. So anyways, let's talk about this topic. Bolgheri, Tuscany's MEdoc. So I guess you know, most of you know the MEdoc Cabernet-based wines from Bordeaux. And Bolgheri has a long history with Cabernet. You're marking the tasting notes. This is the designer for Lalique, René Lalique, and Mark and I are designing a wine glass together. So, anyways, you'll hear about that in the autumn. So we're trying that out. But anyway, so Cabernet-based wines. It was really started by Sassicaia, by Mario Incisa de la Rocchetta, Nico Incisa's father. He brought the vine cuttings over from Lafitte because he loved grape claret and began making wines there. The oldest Sassicaia I tasted was 1958, which actually was never commercialized. The first commercialized vintage of Sassicaia was 1968, but 1958, I think he had a few bottles that he found in his grandmother's cupboard or something. And the wine was really beautiful. About 3 years ago, we did a complete tasting of every vintage of Sassicaia made, and the wines age wonderfully. What I like about the wines of Bolgheri and the wines of Sassicaia is that beautiful backbone of acidity and tannins in a Cabernet. You know, I'm sure a lot of you have consumed a lot of Cabernets from California or other New World areas, and sometimes they can be, well, a lot of times from Napa Valley, they can be very high in alcohol with some residual sugar, which personally I don't like, and the acidities can be very low. Even Bordeaux is getting that way, where the acidity, the wines have a lot of fruit, they lack freshness. What's amazing about Bolgheri is they have alcohol, 14 and a half, sometimes higher, but they have fresh acidity. And that's because of this unique growing area in Bolgheri, which is right on the coast. There's the influence of the sea. And at night it gets very cool. So during the day it can be upwards of almost 100 degrees, 40 degrees Celsius in August, but by 3 o'clock in the morning it gets down to 20. So you have these huge differences in temperature, and that freshness, that coolness at night maintains the acidity in the grapes and gives you that slight freshness as well as austerity. And like I said, that's why I like to make the comparison of MEdoc, because they're Cabernet-based wines, although they make great Merlots too, as you know, because of Massetto, Macchioli, and some other wines. So let's, I don't know, the format of this is, it's much more casual. I had this idea, I had never done it before, of how can we change the tasting process, it's sort of an educational tasting, instead of sitting around at tables and feeling like you're back in a class. And you know, I was a pretty good student, but I didn't like being in class really. So I decided, let's do something like this, smaller group. There's interaction with the producers themselves. So if there's any questions when we're tasting or anything you want to add, feel free to do that. So the first wine we're tasting is the Guadaltasso, the Antinori's wine from Bolgheri. Interestingly, it's the Antinori family. You know, it's really a monopoly. It's almost all. In the beginning, it used to be only the Antinoris, because the Incisas are the cousins, and then Piero. You know, the whole family. They basically own the whole thing, and then other people started springing up in the 80s and 90s. So it's interesting to taste right away the Antinori's wine, Guadaltasso. We have Marco here. Perez from Guadaltasso, the winemaker. Marco, parli inglese più per te?
Divino.
Okay. So, a few words about both.